Hello, sweets. Trying something new, which is a video to accompany the newsletter. And the reason for this, I've been sitting with myself for a little bit. I don't know, I've told many of you, but on Mondays, I pull a card and I journal and I set up the week. Not so much to do, which my to-do list is never ending, right? Mama 3 and business owner. That's something entirely different. It's more of this like spiritual setup. So I sit by myself and have like a lovely cup of coffee, pull a card or some cards for the week, and I do like a little prayer supplication. I know prayer, that word can have some weight to it, but I spend time with my ancestors and the deities and spirits that I pray to or ask for intercessory from and wisdom from. And I usually then learn from you all, like my beloved clients that I see and my friends and my family, these themes throughout the week. And it's uncanny. I've been in the mental health field for, it's almost been 20 years, which is wild. And it's been amazing, all the different roles that I've had, just even like supervising or, doing direct practice, how often the same thing gets said throughout the week or the month or the months or even the year. And one of my favorite things about life is learning from others, which I'm so thankful for this job I get to do. I'm constantly learning from you all. And there's so many times I want to put everyone in a room just so we don't feel alone and we could encourage one another. No, we're not cuckoo bananas. Like, no, I think something's going on circumstantially for sure. And, there's certain things that are happening in our environment. It's a hard time to be a human. But it's different than that. It's something, oh, yeah, it's spiritual to me. And, I've told many of you, I think astrology is fascinating. It does not stick in my head. So, I'll joke. Y'all are much smarter than me with those things, like the people I get to see, and I'm thankful for it, where I'm like, is something going on, like in the stars? I don't know. Certainly feels that way. So anyway, my hope for this and kind of looking back at the month of March is looking at some themes. And I have a couple cards. So this is also how I work. I play a little with the cards and then I look back. And then the themes and the illuminations and the interaction and life informs the learning of the cards, not the other way around. I think of tarot comes to me in words and experiences, and it's really collaborative. Even for me personally, like it's collaborative with my life. It doesn't usually predict for me. Sometimes it's a little spanking, right? Where I'm like, oh, yeah, you do need to work on that shit. In love and compassion. I love me a little spanking. Keeps me honest, right? Okay, so I would love to maybe look back and make sense of some things as we're moving forward with compassion, with curiosity. And as always, I want to, you all have informed this exploration. So I want to start here. There's been two cards that have been coming up a ton in sessions for those of you who enjoy or invite pulling of cards. They've come up personally and they've come up when I've been with y'all. And that is the Queen of Cups and the Three of Wands. I want to talk, you can look up, elements and planets and signs and origins. This is available to you. What what I want to provide is words, themes, experiences, and what I've seen and what I've heard and what I've gathered from this month in sessions and from myself. And that is, this is from the Modern Witch Tarot deck, BT Dubs. When I mentioned it's a hard time to be alive right now, there is such a assault on autonomy of our bodies, against trans rights, against queer folks. Like it is, and I think most of most of my caseload is most of the people I see and people I love, myself included, identify as LGBTQIA plus, or love differently, or participate in a queer identity. And it has been absolutely heartbreaking, rageful, frustrating. There's something here that came up, and I don't know how else to say this. Besides, I feel like there was this theme this past month of resistance in the most delicious of ways, in a less productive way. So I will say this, please do not get me wrong. Write your letters, call, make your phone calls, donate where you need to donate, advocate, advocate, advocate. I find those of us who have a strong, integral value system that is opposing, some of these horrible things that are happening, can struggle with this idea of productive advocacy. There's a right and a wrong way, there's the best way. And this is where I think Queen of Cups and actually Three of Wands comes into, which is you do you, boo. You do you, and not in a way that doesn't mean you don't do it, but you do it in a way that perhaps is not always considered productive or, full of, I don't want to use the word aggression, but more. I'll give you some examples. These are the things that have come up in therapy. A lot around gender identity and a lot around masculine and feminine. And I'm not talking about, cultural, societal definitions, but a little bit of like sacred energy and even changing the names. That's happened a lot in sessions where there's been, a looking and exploring and unlearning, but also an expression of what does gender, how do I express my gender? How do I express my femininity or my masculinity? And it's come out in tight, skinny jeans, wearing a makeup, like wearing a beautiful eyeshadow or putting on a lip. Maybe not, maybe challenging if you've been taught that a certain gender pursues you. There's been a lot of, okay, well, I'm going to try something different and actually pursue them and try that on for size. A lot of looking at what we've been told and then what feels good. And specifically, there's something here with Queen of Wands and Queen of Cups and Three of Wands that I've seen a lot of what feels good in safety. So what feels good to your nervous system to express, and how to feel into yourself in a way that feels vibrant or sexy or soft or tough. Or there's just been these, and with that has also been a theme of delight, to be delighted in, to delight in, to receive, to sit in this birthright and this worth that we're worth receiving. It's been so fascinating how it's come through with things that are pretty practical. Like I mentioned, like eyeshadow, certain clothing, certain ways of dating, certain, patterns we're looking at that seem to just directly relate to a resistance against autonomy of the body and of choice with who you love and sex and how you express yourself sexually. I'm trying to think of some other themes that have come up because it's been amazing. There's been another theme of just being a little extra. Being a little extra not from a place of a trauma response, but being a little extra from just owning your fucking self. And also the same thing of being extra because you also give. Remember, attachment's reciprocal. So it's what I give to you, it's what you give to me. It's collaborative. So there's been this theme too of like, how do I give? How do I let others delight in me, and how do I be delighted in? Is it because I'm owning myself with putting on my face? Is it, enjoying a certain music style? Is it, really getting in touch with this morning? I am feeling a little more in my masculine energy, and this is how I'm going to express it. Maybe it's a really hard bike ride with some heavy metal. I don't know. It's been fascinating, but it hasn't been, clear cut in the way that we always imagine of like, I advocate in this way and it looks like this. There's been a real exploration of you doing you, boo. You doing you. And I will say, I'm going to pull one more card because the other thing that's coming up, Six of Wands. The other thing that's coming up is if it's hard, it doesn't mean that it's wrong. It doesn't mean you're doing it wrong, and it doesn't mean that you're wrong. So think of that with this self-expression. I think we think self-expression feels a lot more natural sometimes than it does. That shit touches on some things. And Six of Wands is part of this. There's something about presentation, celebration, being out there, not for others. Although that's okay too. If you're like, I just want some attention today. But more of, again, not expressing yourself to poke and not expressing yourself just because it's to advocate. It's more about advocating for yourself and your, what feels good, what you delight in. Again, what is natural for you to express yourself, and then understanding that may feel hard. That may make you question. That may not get you the response you're thinking, and it might, probably will, touch on your levels of productivity and right and wrong, or is this silly, or this is the way it should be? Am I being silly? Am I being extra? There's something here about these cards. So many wands: passion, fire, expression. Bum, bum. What fills your cup? What keeps you going? Stokes that ingredients of life, right? And then Queen of Cups is it's just so much of you do you. You do you. You do you, and it doesn't have to be in a box, and it doesn't have to be labeled. I had heard somewhere that labels are categories, right? Like I would say, oh, I am a mother of 3. I am a non-monogamous queer woman. I'm also, in a heteronormative partnership that looks very normal, right? It's also normal, but it looks very normal. That I maybe would tell people some of those labels to make it palpable for them. I would be comfortable with their assumptions of me within that label. But I'm so much more. We're not labels and we're not categories. And I think so much of Queen of Cups is this: to delight in yourself means we change our mind. So there's a bit of that too. Change your mind. See what feels good today in this moment. Wear your eyeshadow, wear your tight pants, because maybe tomorrow you're in some sweatpants. You know what I'm saying? You do you, boo. You do you. And if it's hard, it's not wrong. And if it's hard, you're not wrong. And if it's hard, it doesn't always mean stop. I'm not talking about disassociation. You know me, we got to be in touch with this nervous system response and reactions. I'm talking to swim in some ocean of yourself It's a little hard. It's hard. I also wanted to say, I see you. And in this family, in this Wild Open Joy family, that we're all growing and changing and evolving and touching on some things that are difficult, hard. It's beautiful. You are not alone. I see you. I see you. You inspire me. You inspire me to tell others. You inspire me as a mother and a partner. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful. So you do you. And I look forward to hearing more about this. Bye.